breaking news! With their release in the UK, we now know the details for Rift Hansen and Delta Squad. Matt and Lee discuss.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another rapid reaction. This one a little more rapid than the Gin box, which is coming. I just didn't want to publish it right after we got spoilers for other stuff. That felt a little bit weird. So that's coming. Keep an eye out for that. But of course we have Lee here with us. Hello, Lee.
Hello, it's good to be back.
Yes, lots to talk about here before a little hiatus until Q2 next year potentially. We've got both Delta and Rift Hansen's box are releasing in the UK on Friday the 18th of July. So they're in the wild now. So let's dive right in. Now, I will say one thing though for people who are watching this. If you're seeing this, it's just a disclaimer that we haven't had the official AMG release yet, so we don't have the really nice cards that we're going to see in this video, so the quality will be a little less than usual. So just bear with us for that. Alrighty. Lee, kick us off. Let's go with our normal order. Primaries first. The boss man himself.
The boss. As a huge Republic Commando fan, I was so excited to see Delta Squad get announced. And boss does not disappoint. I've seen some comparisons to him being like a Gar Maul, and I kind of get where they're coming from.
I've heard Gar Iden, and we can see
I also think Gar Iden.
We can see the similarities. Both him and Iden have a tactic that's very similar, where they're going to dash certain types of units within range 4, and then that includes themselves as well, getting a dash on the tactic. I think similar to Iden, this is going to feel great in the early game, but then in the mid game, both of them are so fast that they might be far away from their friends, and this tactic won't actually hit anybody.
I agree. I think unlike Iden, although a little bit like Maul, boss is freakishly fast. Potentially.
Iden's freakishly fast too, but like boss is faster.
Yeah, I think very, very potentially getting, 2 reposition. Like, if you're willing to hurt yourself that much, you could probably pull, 2 repositions quite easily out of your turn.
Okay, this is jumping the gun a bit. But I'll say it now. If you have ARF in your list, and you're willing to spend for let's get in there and start breaking things, you can... okay, and this is kind of where we're going to talk about he's Maul-like, because he can take damage to turn dashes into advances, and advances into repositions, and then he throws extra dice for that damage. So, very Maul-like, but you can turn your tactic dash into a advance, and then you could... move all your friends onto an objective, then pay 2 force for an explosive solution, dash everyone off that objective, and give yourself another advance. Then you could make an attack, and if you get 4 down one of his trees, you can turn another dash into an advance. And then, if you're within range 5 of ARF, you can turn a supporting fire dash into an advance. And that's like a relatively reliable, maybe not reliable because it is 4 down the tree, but that is 4 advances if you really want it. You can, from deployment too, right? Or from anywhere, but yeah, you can get from one corner of the board to the other. He is rapid.
Yes, absolutely. Also nice to see, even though he's only got 2 force, he's got a refresh option, he's got 9 squad points, which he's going to need. Yeah, an interesting take on... He feels like a commando, and he feels quite distinct from, I think, most other sort of Gar primaries, in the sense that, he seems like a beat stick. But he can move friends, which is nice.
Exactly. He's not as beat sticky as someone like Anakin. I don't think you're really relying on this guy to one-shot stuff, but I think the biggest thing he's bringing to the table is speed, and probably the ability for the Republic to play something like Never Tell Me the Odds a bit better, because right now, a lot of their best pieces, they can't hit those back objectives. And we don't need to talk about it too much, but I do think Delta giving an explosive solution, it's an interesting take on an ability that we've kind of seen a few times already. His is most similar to probably Endor Leia, except it doesn't have to be in range 3 of him. He can choose an objective range 3 from any clone trooper, which will probably be most characters in this list. And remember, it doesn't have to be an active objective. So it's very versatile. A good way to get a lot of people dashing, especially, let's say, struggle 1. Maybe you had the X layout. and everyone's on the middle.
Hmm.
Struggle 2, you just want to move a whole bunch of people right away. I mean, this is a good way if you can afford it, or you get for free in the tree.
Yeah, absolutely. Tons of mobility, but sort of an interesting mobility. I really do like with situations where it's like pick a point, blow it up, and there are like dashes involved. I personally am not a huge fan of abilities where your opponent gets a chance to dash. Just because,
Mm-hmm.
like, even if they don't go anywhere, they could be like removing pins. They might go places where you really don't want them to go. So, really nice to see an option where it's like I get why it's two force. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's an ability that's probably worth 2 force. It would be crazy good at 1. Which stance do you want to talk about first?
Let's start with wet work. It's the first one I've got.
Cad's stance, the one he stole from Mr. Cad Bane.
Yeah, very very similar start with the really good damage off the hop with the disarm early in the tree. Shoves kind of hard to come by, but that's not what you have the stance. The thing that kind of stands out to me is a very reliable expertise tree. Like love
Ooh,
seeing
yeah.
1, 2, 3 tiering, and like not going for crits. Not at least not till unless you're in melee, but.
Yeah,
Um,
not at range.
Yeah, at range it's just hits. In melee, it's just like very reliably if you want to get like a little bit of chip damage, which is great. You know, if you find yourself in a situation where you've got someone who, hey, I really just need to do 2 damage to them. I really just need to push that through. Just walk up
Yeah.
and punch them, and you probably get it.
It's got one of those funky trees where
Mm.
you've got more melee dice, but I'd say the ranged expertise is a little bit better. So it's kind of like, which one do I choose? And like 6-7 is a fine starting point, and oftentimes you're going to be throwing even more than that because of his abilities and some abilities we'll see later. So he's got good expertise and he can put a lot of dice behind it. I really like the defense on this one though too. One expertise getting a block and a crit to fail, very handy. Only 5 dice is not ideal, but he's not squishy at 10 health with this defense. And it's range 5, so range 5 primaries. This might actually just be the first one that Republic has, so good for them.
Yeah.
Rapid fire is the same, 5
Yeah.
at range. Again, really good expertise offensively here too. One
Yeah.
expertise across the board is giving him 2 results. It's 2 hits at range, 2 hits at melee, 2 blocks in defense. And this is an Iden tree. It's very similar to Iden's rapid fire tree as well. Not going to do a whole lot of damage, but this is good for shoves. This is good for getting some heals, maybe getting your explosive solution for free. And it's more dice at range, which I think primarily you want to be shooting unless you're running this guy with Vader or something.
Yeah. I was gonna say though, something that I think is worth mentioning with this tree is that like he does have the potential for triple shoves, but he doesn't actually start shoving till 2. And if you need that double shove, you don't get it till 4, which is
It's not ideal, but for a
Yeah.
character who can regularly be rolling like 13, 14 dice, because if you start taking damage,
Yeah.
then eventually your opponent might be like, I'll just wound this guy. And then great, now I have +3 dice. I can turn dashes into repositions just to get more dice. Because every time you do that, it's 3 damage. 1 for the advance, 2 more for the reposition, and that's a die. But it's this game, so you're going to want to maybe take damage and then heal it back with something like this tree.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, there are better trees, but with all the attack tech that this guy's got available to him, depending how you build out your squad, you're going to get further than normal, I would say, down the tree.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very easy to just look at these numbers off the hop and think like, oh, well, the trees, like there's not a ton of damage in the trees, and I'm not rolling buckets of dice. But once you start adding in not only all the extra dice, but also the follow-up attacks, which someone in this squad might help you out with, it starts to look pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah, exactly. You can be. Iden is usually the rolling 9 dice when she is in this stance, and Boss can get to the same spot.
Yeah.
So I think that's enough on him for now. We'll obviously come back to Boss, but Mr. Fixer, what do you want to fixer? He has a twin fixer. Okay, that was bad, but I tried.
You know, it's not one of these reports unless we make some pun, which is
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Where to start? I mean, I think I think he actually feels way too good. Like a tiebreaker. I actually think
That's
too
the head
strong.
scratcher. It's like
Yeah,
he's this whole box would kind of make sense if Fixer didn't have a tie break, but the fact that he has that, I'm just kind of like, oh, what?
wow. And like as a Gar, which means very easy to move him. As a clone trooper, super easy to move him. And then you attach him to a tiebreaker. Like I think most people are aware of like, man, Ezra's really good because as a rebel scoundrel, very easy to move him into position and he breaks ties. So like it's very easy to just like cheekily grab one. And now we have a Gar a Gar
Yeah.
clone trooper. And it's like, oh, okay, great.
Same with Inquisitor supports, right? Like they have tiebreakers. Empire's really good at moving supports.
Yeah.
Republic is really good at moving everybody,
Yeah.
and especially clones. So yeah,
Actually, clones.
his
I like,
tactic
yeah.
is he could be slow at times if he's using his tactic on a friend. It's not like Rex who can use a tactic on a friend and then pay for defensive maneuver, but it does give a heal and a dash, which gets around pins. It only
Yes.
targets a clone trooper. Whoop de doo. Like so it's narrow. Maybe this is a good time to say one of the things that I actually appreciate about this box is that right now I think a lot of the power in Republic is kind of in that Kiadi space,
Yes.
which is more Jedi focused. Well, these guys are very powerful, but they don't really combo with the same sort of stuff. So
Uh,
even though it's really strong, it's not building on the same strength that is established. It's kind of like early 2024 when we got Plo Koon, and he kind of saved Republic, in my opinion at least. But then Bad Batch came along, and they were also really good for Republic, but in a different way. Who wins out? Bad Batch won out over Plo Koon. Is Delta going to win out over Kiadi? Time will tell.
We'll see. I do completely agree. I really like that. It is strong, but it is far more specialized compared to like what we've seen out of like Kiadi or Plo.
Yes. So that was a big tangent. You get some access to free hunkers. I mean, Kenobi lists love that. But really everyone loves that because it's a much more shooty meta these days than, especially like when the game first came out. Like hunkers are much more valuable, I think, because there's just less melee characters running around. And string them along and we'll mop them up. So if this was like, what, 2.5 months ago, I would have said this is a pretty cool ability, but it's kind of like, do I do this or do I coordinate fire expose? Now you don't have that problem. Coordinated fire expose doesn't exist on ARF anymore. And sure, if you want to use the new ARF ability because you really need a dash after the attack, great. But if you don't, just take more dice.
Absolutely, it's legit. I
Really
like.
good.
Yeah, it's very good, and like it's not like I ever played Gar feeling like, man, I really feel pillow fisted. I need more dice. Like I feel like a little bit like Hunter. The idea being that it's a small change to your result pool by turning a miss to a hit or a miss to an expertise if you're a bad batch. But Fixer brings just an extra layer of like reliability to your attacks. I don't think it's going to be so much that I'm always going to be running my trees now, but just that very little bit.
8 health, so he's a little squishy. But he's got okay defense if we look at tactical supremacy, which, another sidetrack, 3 trees now, tactical supremacy, Rex, Callus, and Fixer. They all have kind of the same format. But unlike those other 2 characters, he doesn't have the double shove. Steadfast could be an issue for Delta Squad. They're really good at getting like 1 shove or maybe 1 shove in 2 attacks. But double shoves in 1 attack, diceless displacement, not things that they do well.
Yeah, absolutely. Which again, I think is good.
It's good. They shouldn't
yeah.
be good at everything.
Exactly. I certainly love me a double shove on too via like someone like Rex, but like I don't think everyone should have it, and I think this is a good way to represent that. Hey, not all clones are the same.
Whoa, that's some deep stuff. And he's got lots of heals as well, which I think could be pretty handy if, let's say, somebody in his squad is taking a lot of damage to get even more extra dice.
Okay.
Then you can come and heal them. But also, I think Delta Squad, as we'll see with Sev Scorch, they all have tactic moves rather than pay-for moves, which is really good when it comes to your force economy and making bosses 2 force last, especially in the late game. I find in the late game, that's kind of when you're really spending force for moves sometimes, because it's like, if I don't pay for defensive maneuver, I can't get onto the objective, and I'll just lose the game.
Yeah.
They still move for free even when they're wounded, but if they start the turn with a pin or maybe a strain in the right circumstances, it could really hurt.
And then, of course, like you said, he breaks ties for reasons we'll never understand.
The tie break, I think, is actually really important when we think about, he's not great at double shoving. He doesn't have dice lists. If I can't shove someone away, I can still oftentimes just walk up and take the objective. So it's not the end of the world. Shall we move on? Sev Scorch.
Sev Scorch, who I actually think might be, like, I like everything in the box. I think Sev Scorch are my standouts. Love them at 5.
Yeah, they're good. More explosives is just, you'll often get at least one. I think it's 75%. We ran the numbers that you'll put a strain on someone, which can be handy, but you usually don't have the force. But yeah, Rule 17 is nutty. Nutty.
I was thinking the other day, like, we both love Snips. We both love Rex for that, like, little follow-up, especially your play. And now to have that available from the support, who can play it off everyone, is so insanely good.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Now, boss does only bring 2 force, and if he's not killing people, that could get tight. I do wonder if Delta Squad could be a bit of a trap sometimes, because I think their potential is really high. But I think they could get stuck in lists where you can't really make use of it all, because you just don't have enough force. That's you're reliably getting. And Rule 17, I think, falls into that. If you're not making good use of Rule 17, like once or twice a deck, then these guys probably won't feel like a 5.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. It does tell me that you really want to pair him with someone who maybe brings full force.
Maybe.
Some regen.
Yes, stay tuned for that, people. They also get protection steadfast when contesting. If we look at their stance, these guys are kind of like shore troopers when they defend. They've got steadfast protection as long as they contest. They're a 5/4 with kind of clone expertise. They get crit mitigation. Shores can get hunkers, so maybe it all comes out in the wash. I don't know. That's just kind of the close approximation I came up with.
Yeah. I think so.
Very interesting tree. There's like 2 guys, so and they're specialists, I guess. So you either choose one specialist or the other specialist. There's no crisscrossing.
Yeah. So you pick one path or the other. Hey, shoves at 1 and 3 if you need that double shove. I think the expertise table is kind of interesting because, like, it's not that exciting. I think it's very reliable for getting like your 2 results and maybe turning a block off. But yeah, generally speaking, you're doing your expertise table gets you 2 results.
Yeah, it's similar to Rex, right? Like Rex is probably getting 1 or 2 expertise in that 5 dice attack, except Rex can double shove on 2, whereas they're only getting 1 shove if they get 2 down the tree. But again, if you're not facing steadfast and you need 2 shoves to get someone off the objective, normal attack 1 shove, these guys 1 shove. Yeah,
I think it's good chip damage to follow up with, and like because they can play into everyone. Like, hey, there are plenty of Gar people that have some access to an expose, for instance. Maybe gives you a little bit more value on that 5 dice follow up.
Yeah, exactly. Like Rex, again, his name keeps coming up. Maybe we'll see him a bit more. 3 down the tree, give them an expose, follow up. Now, I think when it comes to Delta Squad, you're going to be tempted to try to wound Boss because he's going to be self-damaging, right? And that might be the right play. But then he could come back stronger than ever before, much like Maul. I think you definitely want to get Fixer, just nuke him off the table as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Because you don't want a tiebreaker body they can move around. You don't want all those free dice, those free hunkers. Make that stuff cost force. And then Sev Scorch. If you can get Rule 17 to cost 2 force, it's a lot less appealing.
Yeah, especially when they only have 2 force out of one of their primaries. So what we're saying is wound everyone.
Wound everyone.
You need to wound Boss, Fixer, and Sev Scorch as soon as possible.
Exactly. Yeah, just wound the entire squad.
Yeah.
Who are you going to give us for a pairing, Lee, for our first list for Delta Squad?
I mean, I do want to just very quickly mention Delta and Bad Batch. I think part of the appeal for me is, like, not only do you get to field pure clone troopers, Hunter obviously loves working with other clone troopers. It's so cheap. Cheaper.
Yeah, 2 boxes.
It's
2 boxes for a very good list.
Absolutely. I think, again, if you're someone who watched a lot of Clone Wars or played Republic Commando growing up, and you want to play Shatterpoint and just field, like, 6 clones. Oh, sorry, 8 clones that are great. Good news. You
Mm-hmm.
got you got a full box of clones.
And if you want to get a bit more creative, you could put in Wolf, you could put in Rex from the core set, you could put in 212th or Wolf Pack, or some other 4 cost. But yeah, I think Hunter plus whatever and the Bad Batch and Delta Squad definitely good, and as a 2 box list, very strong.
Yeah. So I did want to very quickly mention that because I
Mm-hmm.
think it's worth mentioning. But the different one I wanted to suggest was Obi, Rex, and the 212th with Delta Squad. I
Mm-hmm.
think you've got a ton of hunker synergy with Fixer, and Obi will actually let you keep that and help to boost some of those kind of middling defensive dice that we see out of the Delta Squad units. I think Rex again is just such a great secondary. He's the gold standard for like Gar secondaries in my opinion, and like I think a lot of Gar has been designed around the Obi tack, so you might as well just lean into it.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about Obi with these guys. Obi does want that reserve slot, but luckily I don't know if anyone in Delta is like super concerned about trying to have it, they can kind of leave it to him. I do worry about Force because it is a little tight if you're not getting the kills with Boss, which again he's very good, but he's not one-shotting people like Aiden for all his strengths. Often he can, but not often. But yeah, exactly. You're getting that's somewhere where you really got to kill Fixer quickly because otherwise they're getting free hunkers, which turn into free heals, which turn into extra moves and heals, and it's just gone.
Yeah. How about you? What did you bring?
Well, so I was gonna say I've also got Rex. His name has come up a lot because, as we said, heals for this squad I think are going to be very useful. Rex not only has heals in his tree, but he can turn hunkers into heals. I forget what the Bring It On Clankers is. I think the name of that ability. I'm really bad with names of abilities, but one of them when clones gain hunkers, if they're close to him, they can turn that into or get a heal as well.
Yeah.
And he's really strong. It gives you it gives you more options for follow up attacks because Sev Scorch can't follow up themselves. So if they attack, Rex can follow up for a third attack in a turn, which is kind of silly.
Got the Force.
Exactly. So I said, okay, let's get a lot of Force. There's a few flavors. I already mentioned ARF and what they can do with Boss. So we've got Rex, we've got ARF. Who you want to put in that 7 cost primary slot could be anybody. I'll go ahead and say Anakin. Why not? But it could be Vader 1. It could be Mace, depending on which flavor you want. I think to start out, someone like Anakin will give you a lot of fun time. It will really lean into the aggro side of this list. And while he can burn a lot of Force, he can also regen it. So you kind of have now 2 characters where probably either Anakin or Boss is going to be getting you even more Force. And of course, you're going to have 6 anyways to start thanks to Anakin.
Absolutely. I think what I like about sort of thinking that way is getting a 4 Force primary helps to sort of shore up what I see to be like the major limiter in this list, which is nice. And like, yeah, I think Anakin plays very well into just being that very aggressive line. And hey, someone who can move a secondary out of activation with like, killing a secondary is great.
Yes, good point, because exactly, killing someone and then being able to move, especially Fixer,
Yes.
who's a tiebreaker, so good. Or move Sev Scorch into position, who knows. Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to these guys. Don't know when they'll release for the rest of the world. Even though I'm in Europe, I have not heard anything about them, but I don't have any tournaments coming up, so I can wait, I guess. Any final thoughts?
Like I said, I'm so glad to see Delta Squad in the game. I'll pour one out to all the people who painted their generic Republic Commandos as Seven Scorch. Understandably so. I think that has always been a tell to me that like Seven Scorch are such a beloved unit that people went out of their way to paint them before they even came to the game. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of repainting that has to happen, but well worth it.
So, hope you guys enjoy Delta whenever you do get your hands on them, and we'll see you for some more rapid reaction soon.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone.